First and Now, the official BC Lions podcast. Matt Baker, Nick Kowalski, thrilled to be back with you and thrilled to be back inside the Go Goat Sports Studios inside the Wall Center on Burrard Street. Had to go virtual there for a few weeks, but we were able to escape. Always good to be downtown here. Nick, how are you?
Doing very well. How about you?
Doing good. It's kind of that interesting point in the calendar where you're still kind of in recovery mode, but you're also looking ahead. Case in point, we have a schedule, the 2023 schedule announced. We'll get to that in just a minute. We're each going to pick 3 games we find intriguing, have a fun little game with it, and I love it. Schedule day is always fun. Like, you dissect it for a day or two, then you kind of forget about it and don't really look at it again until training camp, or you don't really look at it again until someone asks you, oh, are you busy this weekend in the summer year round? Oh, wait, haven't memorized the schedule yet. Let's see. Oh, yeah, can't do that. But always fun, and we encourage everyone to check out bclions.com, all our social media channels, yourself and Liam. Well, I think we have to give Liam most of the credit, don't we, for the Pass the Phone. We have a few celebrities talking about the schedule. Celebrities, I use that term loosely. Respect to the likes of Moj and Mark Dreeshen. I guess those guys are celebrities. Farhan, there's a reference to Farhan and flip-flops, always fun. But we'll get into the schedule in a minute, but like we talked about, kind of transitioning out of recovery mode and into preparation mode. BC Lions getting some pretty good work done since our last episode. A couple of big re-signings. Sean White led the CFL in field goal percentage. He's back for a 15th season in the CFL. David Menard, a very brilliant addition, I guess re-addition. He left for a year, went to Montreal, but came back. Led the Lions with 9 sacks. I think he was 4th in the league in sacks. So a couple of key position areas addressed since we last recorded an episode.
Yeah, and 2 more years for Sean White too, which is I know being a local boy from White Rock, he often talks about how awesome it is to play in his home city, and he got to play in a home playoff game too in his home city too, which I know was a big deal for him. And
yeah,
he's as reliable as they come too, and a really funny guy too. I know really well liked in the locker room. Definitely ups the BC Lions golf game. He's one of the better players too, so I know he's liked in the locker room for bringing all the boys together for golfing and all of that. But yeah, great to have him back. You just when he goes on the field, you know it's more often than not going to be 3 points. So yeah, great to have Sean back.
Great to have Sean, and yeah, we said that he was 36 of 39, or I don't have the.
I believe that's correct.
Yeah, 36 of 39, but 93.2%. Went 17 straight without a miss, and unfortunately the one that broke that streak was a costly one because prevented a chance from potentially forcing overtime in Toronto. But you're right, stability at the place kicking position was an absolute priority after the gong show we went through in 2021. No disrespect to anybody involved, but Sean White, Neil McEvoy talks about this all the time. Local players, guys who are invested in this community. Sean also was the finalist for the Tom Pate Award. The team winner, the team awards we announced officially on Monday of this week. He was the community winner. Just a great guy to have all around. And yeah, it's exciting. It shows that there's a buy-in. There's an unfinished business factor with a lot of these guys. And you know that all went into it with both David and Sean.
Oh, for sure, yeah, and shout out to the White Rock Titans too. I know that's Sean's that's Sean's school that he helps out with, and I know he had a bunch of players not only come and help out with him too in terms of the coaching. I think and Dominique Grimes, Antonio Pipkin, a couple others, but they all wore hoodies one time, the White Rock hoodies, to one of our road trips. So
it was one of the later trips.
Yeah, they got a lot of love, and then if you want to pivot into David Menard, I mean the production continued to be there when it comes to sacks, and he's someone that makes the most of his reps. I know Coach Bowman in the defense, they wanted to dress upwards of 9-10 defensive linemen a game just so that they could stay fresh. And I think David Menard is maybe like the epitome of the guy that stays fresh and makes the most of his reps. And certainly a dominant pass rusher in this league too. The most outstanding Canadian nominee in the East of season prior too, right? And I think he had
finished runner-up to his current teammate, Bo Campbell.
Yeah, and he put up pretty similar statistics this season with the BC Lions. So another great year for David, and very happy to have him back too.
Yeah, I guess they kind of, for the lack of a better term, they kind of righted a wrong, because you heard whispers of that in 2021. Oh, they let David Menard go. Like we know he's a Quebec guy. We know he's from Chicoutimi, but that was, again, an area in 2021 that was sorely lacking, and a big reason the team was on the outside looking in come playoff time. So still plenty of work to be done. Yes, there's still a little bit of uncertainty over a certain quarterback doing his tour of NFL workouts. Hopefully on one of these episodes in the next couple of weeks, we'll have a Nathan Rourke update. But we wanted to get this in as well before we talk schedule. We don't often do this. We're excited to do this. For those that downloaded this episode pretty much right away on Wednesday morning, here's a bit of news we're going to drop. Co-general managers Rick Campbell, Neil McEvoy have signed contract extensions through the 2024 season, basically tacking on an extra year. Both were coming back in 2023. That was not an issue, but both have signed contract extensions. Again, if you're listening to this podcast as a right-away download around 8 o'clock this morning, that's going to become official on the Lions channels any minute now. So a little bit of a first and now exclusive. We talked, Nick, about continuity. Last week, all the assistant coaches re-upped, all 9 assistant coaches. So stability, continuity at the top, that's going to be a major selling point, you hope, for any potential free agents. But happy to have those two signed beyond 2023.
Oh, it's great news, too. And both of them are great leaders of this organization as well, too. So it's great to have them back and being given another year on top of next year to keep building this organization and keep building this culture. We've talked about how many home runs they really hit in free agency last season. Sean White, David Menard being 2 of them that are now back again, as we just mentioned. But and I think what I'm seeing too is the past couple seasons in the CFL, Winnipeg's been the standard. Yeah, and what Winnipeg is known for first and foremost is their culture. Then the stability they've had in terms of that what a head coach in Calgary referred to one time as the Canadian Mafia in terms of Mike O'Shea, Kyle Walters, and then Wade Miller at the top. And those guys have been given they were given years to build that culture up and ultimately led multiple championships. And I don't know about you, but I see so many parallels with the BC Lions right now and how we're on a big upwards trajectory, and it's staying put, and the key pieces are staying put. So it's just more good news that they're back here.
Yeah, Winnipeg obviously the gold standard right now, and Mike O'Shea had a rough start. First couple years missed the playoffs. Slow start in 2016. People are talking about, is this guy's job secure? But they turn it around. They were patient. Calgary. I know Calgary's just transitioned Dave Dickinson into the general manager's role, John Huffnagel staying as president, but Huffnagel and Dickinson, I know Huffnagel had both the coach role and the GM role for a while. Fine example, longest standing playoff streak in the CFL. And, both of these individuals are first class in every way. We work for them. Obviously, we're going to say that, but those that don't see it, we see it. I mean, when Rick Campbell was first hired 3 years ago, the general manager at the time, Ed Hervey, hired him, and he was asked what he liked about him, and he just flat out said, Rick's just a ball coach. I mean, those on the outside might see him as a little understated, maybe not the most outgoing, rah-rah guy, but you watch him leading in the locker room. We post all those all-access videos. He's a guy that has total buy-in with his players, and Neil McEvoy, what can you say? This one of the more ultimate loyal members of this organization. 28 years, Nick. Started in 1995, right out of university on the business side, and transitioned smoothly over to football ops. It's a great day for the organization to say we've locked up both these guys, and they're both great to be around too.
Mm-hmm. And that definitely helps with re-signing some of the key pending free agents as well too, which I think is an important aspect of all of this as well, because as we just mentioned, we do want to bring back the core of this team and the key free agents that are now withstanding as well. So that's just more good news in terms of hopefully bringing everyone back if possible. But we'll see what happens in these coming weeks.
Exciting times indeed. Now, schedule 2023.
Yeah.
We kind of hit on it off the top, but here we go. We're each going to give 3 games we're excited about and the reasons why. But a couple of key nuggets. 4 o'clock starts. 6 home games in the summer before Labor Day. All 4 o'clock starts. One of those on a Sunday, a bit of a new wrinkle. So that's very exciting. I know that's one of the main things we hear from folks on Vancouver Island, the interior. Maybe it's easier to come in and out in one day, earlier start times. We've secured that. Lions will open the season. Lions in Calgary, June 8th. That's the standalone opener on a Thursday night. And another home opener against the Elks, which I think you'll talk about in just a minute. But overwhelmingly positive reviews I'm hearing with this schedule.
Yeah, I think the format overall, if you just look at the entire league, it goes Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for most weeks until the
NFL starts, right?
Yeah, and I think I think that's awesome. Another thing that's really maybe not being talked about enough is the playoff change to Saturday. I know that was leaked or put out a couple weeks ago, but just seeing it that the two playoff weeks before the Grey Cup are going to be on Saturdays. I'm excited for that too. I think I'm looking forward to having those on Saturday nights, and I believe the younger demographic will too. Just the fact that they can have a weekend out and not have to worry about work or anything like that. But then also, in the flip side, the Sunday games is great for families, and the 4 o'clock starts are great for people living and commuting from the island. So I think it's really a win-win overall with the entire schedule. I'm very pleased with it. And one last note too, our bye weeks are really good this year.
Oh, aren't they? None of this garbage 2 buys in the first 5 weeks. No way.
All 3 before Labor Day.
Yeah, week 6, 14.
And 21.
And the last, we get So my wife, Stephanie, very understanding bride. I've missed her birthday pretty much every year because we're on the road. We were just in Winnipeg at the end of October. So so Randy Ambrosi, listen to me. Can you make sure we're either at home the night before or we have a bye? And he listened to me. So Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. But yeah, Saturday playoffs, I'm with you. That's a long time coming. I mean, I was kind of in denial about that for a while. You know, I was kind of more of that old school mentality. Oh, you know, if you're a true football fan, you like both leagues. And on Sunday, you can watch the playoffs as opposed to like a week 7 random NFL game.
You have to pick one, though. That's what I don't like.
Well, you even told me you got buddies in Winnipeg, right, who didn't come to our Western final because they didn't want to watch. They didn't want to miss the NFL, and these were big Bomber fans, right?
Yeah, and then the job that we're in, we kind of have to. I was kind of tuned out from the NFL for a good month.
Yeah,
just with our playoff run and then the Grey Cup in the next week, right? So I love that you can watch both in November now. That's kind of the big takeaway for me.
Love the 3 each again against the West. I know it comes at the expense of a couple of Eastern games. Won't go to Ottawa. That's a little disappointing, but we still go to Montreal.
I'll take Montreal and Toronto.
Again, more on this in a minute. Toronto, the defending Grey Cup champions, will not come here, which I'm indifferent on. I think from a ticket sales perspective, that's okay. You'd rather have Saskatchewan twice and Calgary twice. Again, division rivalries, right? And you hear the odd person say, "Oh, you should play everybody." I don't agree with that. I think it's a good compromise the way you have it now. So, and just from an overall perspective, there's less back-to-backs.
Yeah.
And looking at, I don't think we have a back-to-back, do we?
I don't think we do.
Haven't really and that's fine by me.
Hamilton doesn't have Toronto
4 times in August, 5 weeks. God awful. And that's it's exciting. It's easy to be reactive like this, but I'd be hard pressed to find a situation like this where the reaction, not just us, but we get on social media and everything else about how positive it is. So anyway, without further ado, how do you want to do this? Do you want to go 3 at a time each, or go back and forth?
Let's go back and forth.
Okay, so I'm going to start. I don't really have to do this by date, but okay, I'll give you my first game. I'm intrigued. Week 3, June 25th. Back to the scene of the crime. It's a Thursday night at IG Field in Winnipeg. That's going to be the storyline.
June in Winnipeg too.
Yeah, and then the first of 2 trips to Winnipeg, both in the summer, right? We go back 6 weeks later, I think, early August. So that's the first one for me. That's storylines galore. Remember how emotional it was on the field and in the locker room with Mr. Burnham, Mr. Rourke. Hopefully Mr. Rourke is back. We know Mr. Burnham has retired. By the way, check out our interview with Brian Burnham from last week on his retirement. Very solid stuff. So, yeah, that's my first one, going back to Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the dragon the BC Lions have yet to slay. Went into Mosaic twice last year, got 2 wins. Went into McMahon last year, got 2 wins. And IGF is still the one that the BC Lions, I bet they have their circle scheduled this year to some of the players because left a salty taste in their mouth, and obviously getting eliminated last year too. So, yeah, a chance to right or wrong.
Yeah, you mentioned it. No wins in Winnipeg since 2017, and we get 2 cracks at it in the regular season. All right, go. What do you got?
Game 1 for me has got to be the home opener. We've already it's been mentioned that it's going to be another big spectacle ahead of the game, with possibly more music involved and more probably street parties involved and all of that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing whatever comes down with all the hype around it and all the event that it's going to be, which is going to be really cool for everybody in Vancouver. And it's against Edmonton again. I think that's a good recipe based off of what happened to that home opener last year. So, that's game number 1 for me, just because of the whole event that's going to come with it.
Yeah, and we are expecting a pregame act maybe of some kind. We know nothing. We've just heard speculation and yeah, hey, I'm intrigued to see if Edmonton how much improved they're going to be. You know, Chris Jones's MO. First year in Edmonton, well, he had a solid first year in Edmonton the first time. First year in Saskatchewan when he went there, not as good. Then went to a division final in year 2. So 3 times against the Elks again, but then the 2 after in Edmonton. So just the 1 visit from Edmonton. And I'm with you. Yeah, it's going to be a 4:00 Saturday, summer.
Yep.
Roof should be open. All the ingredients are there for another special home opener. Okay, moving along. I'm going to go, this might be off the board here, Nick, but that's what we do. We like to throw the odd curveball. I'm going to go week 12. We have a late August visit from the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Okay. I chose this one because it's anyone's guess what the quarterback matchup is going to be. Is it going to be Nathan? Is it going to be Nathan Rourke against Bo Levi Mitchell? Is it going to be Vernon Adams Jr. against Matthew Schultz or Dane Evans? I'm hoping we get Nathan and Bo Levi. That might be a little off the board, but I'm looking at that one as
I didn't cross in my head, so I like it.
I like it. And we had a nail biter with the Ticats this past season, 17-12, 4 turnovers forced by the Lions in the fourth quarter alone. 3 of those on downs and a Gary Peters interception to end the game. So Hamilton, again, we still have free agency. We still have the draft. It's a Grey Cup hosting year for them. This could potentially be, I don't want to throw Grey Cup preview out there right now, but maybe a battle of 2 division winners at that, or 2 division leaders at that point of the year as well.
Aren't they always nail biters too when the Ticats come here? Or am I doing that wrong?
Yeah. When they come here, we've had a couple of lopsided defeats there, but
the Brian Burnham toe tap game.
Yep.
That was here.
Overtime.
That was against Hamilton. So yeah. And then again, Saturday, 4:00. Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong. And very quickly, we will go to Tim Hortons Field this season. We didn't in 2022. Final road game of the regular season in mid-October. So
going to be a windy one.
It's always windy in Hamilton. We've been there in week 2. It's been windy as hell. So
1 October road game too, just to get off a little sidetrack. I like that too.
Yeah. Okay, what do you got next?
Let's go. I'm going to go week 5, July 9th. It's home against Montreal. Not really. I'm excited to see the Alouettes here this year, as we didn't get them to come and visit us last season.
Haven't visited since 2019.
Yeah. But the reason I am looking forward to this game in particular is it's a Sunday.
Yes.
At BC Place at 4:00. Sounds like a really good family day game to me. But yeah, having a Sunday game at BC Place, it's part of that whole new Sunday wrinkle that we talked about earlier. And I think that just being in the BC Place on a Sunday is going to be a cool experience overall. And I think it's going to draw a lot of families. And again, it can draw people from the island too. So it should be another good one.
Opens up your weekend too. Like if that's a weekend where Saturday night you wanted to do something else,
you go to the cabin if you want.
You can go to the cabin, yes.
Yeah.
I tallied this up. Last Sunday home game for the BC Lions, 2015 in September. It was week 1 of the NFL season. And a Lions loss to Rick Campbell in the Ottawa Red Blacks.
No way.
That's the type of research you get on this podcast. And I'm with you. Get to face the Alouettes twice. I think you're going to talk about the other one in just a minute. And got to try new things. And again, the reaction here is overwhelmingly positive. Okay, my third and final game I want to hit on is the last game. We talked about it. The Lions will have a bye in week 21. Hopefully, they'll be sitting pretty in first place because week 20, final game of the regular season, the Calgary Stampeders come to town for a third and final meeting. We mentioned the Lions open in Calgary, and the Stampeders will also come once earlier in July, I believe. Note to self, have the schedule in front of you so you're not just speculating dates. But I'm going to talk about week 20.
You want me to interrupt?
Yes.
August 12th.
August 12th. See, I was close. Week 20, Calgary, a Friday night, I believe, 7 o'clock. Again, the 3 post Labor Day home games are 7 o'clocks on Fridays. So, hey, that, again, I'm long-winded here as usual, but playoff positioning, first place maybe, is it on the line? Stampeders to end the year.
I could see that possibility right there. So, yeah, that's a very intriguing one. On the flip side, too, this isn't my third game, but I just want to quickly bring it up. The season opener in Calgary, that was a layup for the CFL. They saw those BC Calgary games at McMahon last year. And that's how we're opening our season. So
hopefully it'll be a little less stressful this time, but that Jake Mayer, got to get to him early anyway.
Mm-hmm. My last game, though, I think this is maybe the obvious pick here that hasn't been mentioned, is a Labor Day weekend game in Montreal. Going to Montreal. This is week 13 on September 2nd, so it's a Saturday evening in Montreal. That means we'll get a little bit of sunlight before I think in warm up at least. So I like that.
Should be hot.
I love the backdrop of Montreal. I loved it when the sun was going down the last time we were there too. So we're gonna get that repeat. But the other reason that I have this game circled is because it's Labor Day weekend and we don't have a bye.
Not gonna feel left out anymore.
Yeah.
And again, did the research. Lions' last time playing on Labor Day weekend was also 2015, although does it count as Labor Day weekend if it's on the Thursday night? Because I looked it up. It was a Thursday night road win in Montreal. I guess that's technically part of that week.
Yeah.
So
they branded it as the whole Labor Day weekend.
It's going to feel like old times. Before Ottawa came back into the league, more often than not, the Lions would face the Alouettes on Labor Day weekend because they were the kind of, by process of elimination, the de facto rivals. But I'm with you. Love Montreal. Absolutely love going into Montreal. And was crossing my fingers. Okay, if we're not going to go somewhere, can we just still go to Montreal? And it comes at the expense of Ottawa again. But that's going to be a cool little wrinkle playing on Labor Day weekend. And this is great, Nick. We get the bye the week after that.
Fantastic.
So get home in the wee hours of Sunday morning and then have a week off. That first week of September, it should still be a lot of activities weather-wise in Vancouver. So
you got my brain spinning too. It's either that game would either be based on our quarterback situation that we don't know. You talked about quarterback situations earlier. That game would either be Nathan Rourke's first start in Montreal, or it'd be Vernon Adams' first start with the BC Lions against Montreal. So there's two more intriguing storylines in that game.
You only got into one series in that loss there in August or September, early September. So there you go, bclions.com. Again, check out our Past the Phone video. I've got an article up there. I break it all down game by game.
Monday in Toronto on Canada Day weekend.
Canada Day, yes.
Another fun one. I'm looking at this and I'm getting excited right now.
Not going to be busy in the city of Toronto at all that weekend. Hey, we can go see the Blue Jays lose another game live like we did this past year. The Mariners winning game 1 of the wild card series. Blue Jays and Red Sox that weekend, just so you know. I've looked it up. So
try and catch them in Seattle.
Very exciting, yes. You can go see the Jays in Seattle on your own. Anyway, go Mariners, right? Anyway, bclions.com. Secure your season tickets. All kinds of packages available for next season. Just $50 per seat. Place a deposit. There's early bird pricing by the 16th. So by the end of this week, if you lock in by Friday, you get early bird prices. Basically, this year's prices and no increases or whatever for next year. So all kinds of ticketing packages again at bclions.com.
You
One of
really
them
can't beat it too. Yeah.
can't beat it.
I got
Best deal in
convince
town.
my buddies around here, like Saturday 4 o'clock games, $20 tickets possibly, or $25 tickets as cheap as if the $5 beer and margarita price is back, you can go out after. Like you can't beat
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you can go hit the town, find a patio somewhere, and yeah, I might even go out after our home games now. Now that I'm not getting out of there at friggin' 12:30 in the morning. So good times, exciting. Love schedule day. One of the more impressive newcomers with the Lions this past season, Manny Rugamba. We'll talk about his first career interception, which, speak of the devil, came in Montreal. Overall, his first year up north and how that was, and how much pride he takes in his family as well, perhaps. All that and more coming up. First and Know. And we have our guest, thrilled to welcome to the program. We were hoping to do this while we were still playing football, but we're equally as excited to have him now, the BC Lions winner for most outstanding rookie, defensive back, Sam linebacker, whatever you want to call him. Manny Rugamba joining us from Chicago. Manny, how's it going? How's the offseason?
It's going good. The off season's it's been going good. It's only been about a month now, I think. Maybe makes a month today or a few days from now. It's from our last game, but I've been enjoying it. Been around family.
Yeah, expand on that. You live in the Chicago area. I know you were saying your brother's coming into town to visit here tonight, starting tonight anyway. What's the routine now? Is it more still in recovery mode, or you really putting it forward for 2023 camp prep?
I would say the recovery mode is probably closing in. First couple 2 weeks, you want to just give your body some time so you can just listen to it and see what it needs from you. But I've started, working towards 2023. Yeah.
Yeah, we had some exciting times, and we were kicking it around on another episode. I think you were one of the more impressive newcomers once you earned your first start in Calgary. I think it was early in the season. You never gave up your spot. When you look back and reflect on your first year in the Canadian Football League, what are you most proud of?
Just the consistent attack to work, I would probably say. I was activated week 10, so there's that aspect of waiting or learning and just soaking all the things you can soak in as much as you can without actually playing every weekend. And just a consistent basis of that and trying to improve on a daily basis, I'd probably say that's what I'm most proud of.
Are you someone that's if you're someone that's goal oriented too? I'm curious to hear about some of the goals maybe you've already I've looked at ahead to 2023, and if not, then what are some of the things that you do motivate you moving forward?
The things that motivate me is really just success in the daily things. I would say, like I said, being on the practice squad for 10 weeks, your reps aren't the same throughout the season, so you go into practice, with the same mindset of everybody else to get better, but you know that you don't have as much room or opportunity to get better. So it's really focusing on those little things. So just trying to set small goals. And I've just taken that mentality that I tried to create for myself on the practice squad and just use it throughout the season when I was playing, trying to use it now in the off season. And it's something that you can really apply to many things.
Mm-hmm. And I believe just by peeping through your Instagram stories lately, you've been working with James Butler out in Chicago lately, right?
Yeah, James, JB, that's one of my guys. We've been working together for just like our second off season, I would say. Yeah, our second off season together. But prior to that, like I went to school with James with a short time in Iowa. I think he was there for about 4 to 5 months, but I was there with him. So I've known him in the past. So it was kind of exciting when it was last off season when I got the call to come down to Canada and play.
What about what are you and James doing so far right now in the gym? Just regular routine, or what are you guys up to?
Regular routine. We have a set schedule of how we go about things. So right now we're just on a regular routine, trying to get back. Like I said, get our bodies familiar with what's going on again. They're not used to not running into people once a week.
Hey, James is also a pending free agent. Are you looking to recruit him back here? What's that process like, Manny? We want JB back.
I don't think I get paid enough, or I don't think that's my position to be making statements on that. But you guys can always call them on.
See, you went silent there for about 5 seconds. I'm like, he dropped off the line or something. Did we broach a subject that we weren't supposed to. No, and all in good fun. I
No,
know.
I don't.
Thankfully, none of us. I was going to say none of us, thankfully, get paid to make those decisions. So we're all in the same boat there.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought I dropped you guys for a second. I didn't really. You guys went quiet on your end too. I don't know how that was, but yeah, I always tell JB, I'm excited to see him next year, and he's excited too. So I'm sure everybody can, get together and handle that business whichever they want to handle that business. But of course, we're always excited to have JB back.
But what we could do instead, rather than you directly recruiting JB, is, and this is something I like doing with our players too, is just asking you about your first year up in Canada, but not only Canada, but in Vancouver, and how good of a city Vancouver is to play in. So how did you enjoy being in Vancouver this past summer and fall?
Vancouver I would say it was nothing like I expected it to be. First things first was the weather. It was a lot nicer than I thought it was going to be. Don't get me wrong, we had rainy days, but I thought Canada was going to be all of Winnipeg. That's what I thought. But, the city of Vancouver, the people, there's great people there. There's many things to see out there. The food's great out there. The fans showed out this year, so, I enjoyed that too. And luckily, this is my first year with the team. And, people have said that we've had, other seasons where we were good, and the last couple seasons we've been a little shaky. But to come here and experience that at the level that we did, I wouldn't see why someone wouldn't want to come play for the BC Lions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I bet you're pretty happy to hear that the schedule dropped today as we're recording this on a Tuesday, and the Winnipeg trips are both in the summer this time, so no cold weather for Winnipeg, hopefully. But yeah, and the first season for you too. I mean, you, like Matt said earlier, you really came onto the scene once you got that opportunity. I look back to a game in Saskatchewan that there was a quarter where I think you made like multiple tackles for a loss, couple pass breakups. Is that when you sort of really became comfortable in game action up in the CFL?
I would say second half of the Calgary game. My first start, second half of the Calgary game, and just trying to roll into the Saskatchewan week. I knew that we were playing a talented team, and just I was able to be in position to make those plays. RP put us in a lot of good positions that week, and he utilized me coming off the edge to make a few TFLs. But yeah, that game definitely was, I would say, put a little weight off my shoulders as far as like trying to establish myself in a means of not the league, but just around my teammates and gaining my teammates' trust. So I was very happy with that performance.
And then a couple weeks later, you get your first interception in Montreal. I imagine. I'm gonna go on record here and saying, well, you'll be having more than one interception next year. I think you'll get a lot of opportunities, but you got your hands on a lot of balls too this season, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was hard to remember highlights of that game in Montreal, but yeah, our guy Manny here got his first interception. Do you still have the game ball? Did you keep the game ball for that?
I actually do still have the game ball. I do still have the game ball for that. I do. I'll be giving it away as a gift to one of my family members. So I'm excited for him to get that.
That's nice. Who you give it? Which family member?
I'll be giving it to my dad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's an interesting transition because we know a lot about your background, and I remember when we signed you last off season, January, February, whenever it was, and the off season involves signing all kinds of quote unquote unknown rookies from the States, and was doing a little research on you. Oh yeah, he spent time with the Cleveland Browns, and it might have been in your college bio, Manny, where it said you were the first Rwandan player to sign with an NFL team, the Cleveland Browns. How much pride do you take in that, and how much do you feel you're an inspiration to others looking to pursue their dreams?
Man, that's something that I didn't know I was ever pursuing, but when it was brought to my attention and it happened, it was something that I think about every day. It's not a day that goes by I don't think about it. I definitely feel, people have reached out to me from all over the world regarding it and just saying that I motivate them in some way, shape, or form. So just that aspect of it alone is something that I'm very prideful of and thankful for. And it's something that I want to continue to move forward with. Like you said, you can be inspiration to many people, regardless if it's sports. And to be the first person to ever reach that pinnacle, regardless of how it went out, it's something that I don't think I can ever forget. I don't think, it can't be forgotten. So it's something that you got to take pride for, and you got to, know that you're just not representing yourself when you're out there.
And we realize more than ever when we do interviews like this that the football world is truly small. We had Alexander Hollins on an episode just a couple of weeks ago it was, and he mentioned that he was with you in Cleveland as well. How crazy is it to think of that, Manny?
It's just like the football world is small. Like I said, it's to get to the point where guys like Alex, like myself, all guys who play professional football, not just professional football, but sports, it's kind of like a small community. And it's wild that we were on the same, in the same team just a year before, and then we both ended up getting our opportunity later on in the season. And it just goes to show that you just never know where football is going to take you or what it's going to bring, ups and downs. And we both got our chances in the later season, and we both took advantage of it. So I was happy to actually come across Alex. I noticed that the first day of camp. I think it was actually my first one-on-one rep was against Alex on that. I think he ran like a 4-yard hitch. I think that was it.
That's something. That would no doubt make your transition to a new type of game and a new country all the more easy. Who else, your time in the NFL, who else kind of took you under their wing or maybe taught you something and helped your own development? Anyone come to mind?
I think I was just on a daily basis, I would just take away from multiple people. You get to the NFL and you look around and you see the guys you've been seeing on TV your whole life. And then you got guys that, are your age, or you got guys that came out, in the younger class than you did, and that you've known since you were younger. So, and you just try to take so many different things. But I was there with a guy named Greg Newsom. I'm sure you've heard of him. Great player. We've known each other for years before college, as far as like the Chicagoland football and things like that. Excuse me. So I've known him in the past, as well as guys like Jadeveon Clowney you walk by, or you don't have to say too much to, like Myles Garrett. You watch those guys work, and you watch them, go hard in the weight room, go hard on the field, always running to the ball, things like that. So I wouldn't say somebody took me under their wing, but there wasn't anybody that I came across that I didn't try to take something from.
And then just by having the pleasure of being around you guys on a day-to-day basis this season, you're a 24-year-old who joined a secondary full of CFL veterans, including TJ Lee, Gary Peters, Marcus Sales, Luches Purifoy. The list really goes on. But just by being around you guys, it seemed like you and TJ Lee developed a pretty special relationship this season. Was he someone that was almost like a mentor role for you throughout the year?
Absolutely. You got a guy like TJ who, if you cut the film on, you don't know if he's 32 or 24. And that's like one of the first things you recognize is just like, okay, how does a guy like that play so long at that high of a level? And, I could go into a lot of things, but I would rather just give you guys the gist of it. He's a guy that you can watch and you can learn from. If TJ does something wrong, more often than not, that's not really usually happening often. So you got to see where he went wrong on that, where you can avoid the mistakes that you couldn't avoid if you didn't know or been in the game long enough. Because like you said, there's different rule changes, and I was new to the league, new to the rules of it. So watching guys like TJ, Gary, Marcus, Luches, it always helped in every which way. But yeah, TJ was definitely a big part of the season for me.
I'm going to put you on the spot here too. Are you the best dancer in the secondary?
The best dancer in the secondary? Nah, that has to go to RP. That's the head coach. He leads the defense, especially in that.
And then it trickles down. Okay.
Yeah, well, we'll have to. That'll be one of our first tasks in Kamloops to get all the DBs together and show their stuff. You mentioned gonna get a chance to get that interception game ball to your dad, your brother coming in, and I know you're close to family. What else is the plan for the holidays in the next couple of weeks, Manny, other than your training?
Other than training, it's family. You spend so much time away, and not too many of them got a chance to come up this year. And I've got a lot of nieces and nephews, so the family's growing really fast. I got another nephew due in March, so I got a lot of getting to know a lot of my family members. As far as the younger ones that are getting older, you want to be around for those ages. And majority of the time, I'm away because of sports, not even just pro sports, but just going all the way back to like college. Once you leave, you don't really come back for too long. And if you're back for too long, it's not that long. So the rest of the offseason is just going to be family, training, and trying to get better daily.
Congrats. I know Moj, as only Moj can, was giving you Chicago restaurant recommendations, but, as a guy who's spending time there, are you taking in any other sports? Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, anything like that? You get to any other sporting events in the Windy City there?
I haven't yet, but now that you mention it, it's something that I should probably add to my list. I don't think I've ever been to a Blackhawks game, so I'm going to try to get out to one of those now that you mention it, yeah.
There you go. Hockey live is, if you haven't watched a lot of hockey, you get a better appreciation for that. Of all the sports, I think, seeing it live, just seeing how fast it is. So I would definitely take advantage of that while you're there and you have some time. Listen, my friend, it's always good talking with you. It was, one of the great joys is getting to meet some of the newer players and getting to know what they're all about. And I know Nick and I loved doing some content with you, and we look forward to doing it more, my friend. Thanks for joining us here.
Man, thank you guys for having me.
Excellent stuff with Manny Rugamba again, and we hit on it ironically with his former NFL teammate Alexander Hollins. Manny, one of those guys in camp, he looks good. He's holding his own. He's making plays there in the team portions, but it's just a matter of how is he going to get in there? I think it was an injury to Quincy Mosier there in that Week 10 game. And, unfortunately for Quincy, he never really got his job back, but that just speaks to how much better the depth was this season. Excellent talk with Manny.
Yeah, as Coach Campbell would say, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
when that comes up. But 33 when in training camp. RP sent him off the edge a bunch during the season, but it was happening in training camp too, and he just flies off the edge. It's one of my favorite plays when RP decides to blitz him because he usually there was a couple times this season where he met the running back during the handoff. Like he's that quick off the edge. So he's a really exciting player.
And thank you to Manny for joining us. Okay, quickly before we wrap up, it's been an impressive week for you. You went to a couple Canuck games. Well, you and I and Steven and Liam went.
Yeah.
Saw that crazy comeback against Montreal last week. You were back there, I think, on Saturday. Wasn't as fun of a game, no. I don't think. And I believe you and I are going to what I think you've never seen an NFL game live before?
Ever.
Well.
Until Thursday.
And you're going to become an honorary San Francisco 49er fan, I think.
I told you whatever gear you have, I'll wear. I don't care who the player is.
Yeah, I got the options off the top of my head. There's there's a 49ers ugly Christmas sweater. Would you wear that?
Sure.
Okay.
Anything.
My jersey options are limited. I don't always love wearing jerseys with other guys' name on my back anymore.
I do like the jersey.
Maybe I'm just getting old, but I'll find you something. Don't worry. So Thursday night...
Who do you have for jerseys?
It's actually... Currently, 49er jerseys, I have Jimmy Garoppolo.
Okay,
I'm not going to wear that because he's injured and I don't want people yelling stuff at me. And
you haven't bought your Brock Purdy one yet?
We'll give it a couple more wins.
Okay.
The only other jersey I have is a Frank Gore, one of my all-time favorites.
Indianapolis Colt, Frank Gore, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Colts legend. So I might rock the Frank Gore.
Do it.
Or I'll wear the sweater and you can wear the jersey.
You got to bring that physicality to a Seahawks game, right? Niners game.
Because the running game is going to be huge for San Francisco. Given how much Seattle struggled stopping the run in their last two defeats, we shall see. But I'm not going to jump to conclusions. The Niners, they always struggle in Seattle, no matter how good or bad the Seahawks are. Last year as a case in point, but.
I think the odds makers have it as a
2
or 3 point game. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah,
I would say just based off how tight they usually are.
Short week as well. You kind of throw records out the window in a game like this. So I'm glad the Niners have a 2-game cushion.
Yeah, it's kind of a must have for Seattle.
If it was a situation where the teams were tied, I'd be clenching pretty good going into this one. But even if they were a game difference and Seattle had a chance to match them, technically the Niners would still sort of control their fate. But I know we don't often go in depth with NFL talk, but we're going to do more of it because we're heading into the meat of the offseason here. So.
Saturday games too this weekend. So if you're a football fan, you got NFL 3 of 4 nights.
Triple header, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's with the college games ending outside of the bowl games, that's always the norm as well. So we'll look forward to that. We'll review that next week. We'll do one more of these, I think, before the holiday break. And again, bclions.com, all your schedule info, all your needs, all your ticketing info. One more time, $50 per seat. You can lock in your deposit for 2023. There's holiday ticket packs available. Head to our website and speak to a ticket representative when you call 604-589-ROAR. Or again, visit bclions.com. Nick, we'll be back next week.
Sounds good.